Hello sweet friends, welcome back to another video and a special hello if you are new. My name is Casey and today I'm going to be sharing with you all of the books that I read in 2026 so far. So the books that I read in January and February. I didn't do a January kind of reading wrap up because I only read 2 books in January, but in February I read 5. So we've kind of balanced ourselves out there, but I have 7 books to talk about, so let's go ahead and get into them. I'm also a little bit congested and sniffly, so I apologize, but the show must go on. So again, I do apologize if my voice sounds weird or if I'm like mouth breathing throughout the video. The first book that I read this year is The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. This is a friends to lovers romance book, and it tells the story of Nathan and Bree. They were friends in high school, and now Nathan is a NFL quarterback and Bree is the owner of a dance studio, and it's kind of like a non-profit type of dance studio. They fell apart in high school, and then they reunited after college, and they've been pretty much inseparable ever since. When they're out one night, Bree kind of drunkenly confesses this and slips up in front of a TMZ reporter, and as a result, Nathan and Bree are kind of forced to pretend to date for PR purposes. I love friends to lovers. I love fake dating, so this just had everything that I love. I love the, like, when they have to hold hands or they have to hug and be close to each other and they're getting butterflies, but they feel like they shouldn't be getting butterflies, and is the other person feeling this too, or is it all just pretend? I just eat that up. It's like one of my favorite tropes in romance books. I have talked about Sarah Adams so many times on here, and I just feel that no one does cute. I'm talking cute with sparkles and glitter in all capital letters. I just feel like no one does cute as well as Sarah Adams does, just like the little banter and really sweet moments. I just thought that this book was absolute perfection. I don't think it's above the Rome, Kentucky series, which I don't know that anything will ever beat that, because that book series is just perfect in every single way to me, but this was really close. I gave this 4 stars. Next, I wanted to kind of stick with friends to lovers, so I found this one on Kindle Unlimited, and it's Picking Daisies on Sundays. I can't remember the 2 main characters' names, but they were best friends in high school as well, and it fell apart. So kind of on their prom night right before graduation, our female main character kind of drunkenly confesses to the male main character her love for him, and he doesn't reciprocate it. So it's years later, and they're about to graduate college when they bump into each other in New York City, and our male main character has his sister's wedding coming up and some family events, so they decide to fake date so he doesn't have to attend those events alone, and he's hoping to kind of impress his hopefully future employer that he's going to settle down and have roots, and he's kind of doing that by showing that he's dating someone. Again, really sweet. I feel like this was just a really pure, sweet book. Again, friends to lovers and kind of the fake dating element. Like I said, I eat that up, so it was absolutely perfect in that way. I really liked the kind of, I don't know, career elements in the 2 characters and how they were getting ready to start off their lives and how they were trying to mingle their lives into each other. I liked kind of the references to their past relationship and kind of how they had bonded over their fathers, and the way that their families were really well intertwined and loved together. I also think that it's a really kind of stepping into her own for our female main character, which I also really enjoyed. I just think this book was just really pure. So if you've enjoyed, like, I feel like Lovely War or books like that are just really pure and just really sweet, I think that you could enjoy Picking Daisies on Sundays. I've also seen that the author has another book out, so I would really like to give that one a go at some point as well. I gave this one 3.5 stars. Switching gears onto the books that I read in February, the first book that I read was In Your Dreams by Sarah Adams. I have a whole kind of vlog on this, so I won't go on about it too much, but this was a 4.5 star read for me. Again, I love Sarah Adams. I love her. But this is the final book in the Rome, Kentucky series, and it follows Madison and James. Madison was in New York City, and she was studying to become a chef, and Things did not go according to plan. So she's home and she barely graduated, and James is opening a restaurant. It is a kind of farm to table style restaurant, and he has Madison being the head chef. There's always been a lot of banter between James and Madison, and if you've read any of the previous books in the series, then you definitely see that banter between them, and you kind of know that this book and this relationship is coming. That I think that it was executed really beautifully. I just loved the way that James was able to kind of help guide Madison and help her step into her own and to help her grow in confidence. And I just loved how self-sacrificing he was willing to be to make sure that she gets to do what she wants. Like, I think it was just a really beautiful portrayal of his betrayal. That's not right, is it? Is it? I don't know, but it was just a really beautiful way of portraying, I think that might be better, his love for her and how he was quite willing to sacrifice a lot to just ensure that the person he loves was really happy. I have a whole vlog on this one, like I said, and if you watch it, I pretty much giggle and squeal and kick my feet the entire time. Next, we're moving on to some literary fiction, and this was on my winter TBR, and it is Winter by Ali Smith. So this is set during the Brexit in England, and it's set during Christmas time. So the characters in the story are going to this giant house in Cornwall for Christmas. So it is two estranged sisters, one of those sisters' sons and his fake girlfriend, which I know kind of sounds like it's like a fake dating type thing, but it's not. This is not romance. This is pure literary. But and it just kind of discusses the things that they're kind of grappling with and dealing with in the present and in the past. There's a lot of imagery in here, a lot of stream of consciousness. I don't think that these books are everyone's cup of tea, but I really enjoy them. I find them really thought-provoking, and the imagery and things like that beautiful. I really loved the portrayal of winter, and I found this book to be incredibly hopeful. So I read Autumn in the fall, and I really, really liked it, but I think that I might have liked this one better just because I felt really hopeful when I finished it and walked away from it. And if you live in the US or honestly anywhere in the world and you just pay attention to things going on in the world, it's heavy and it's sad. And I don't know, this book kind of made me feel hopeful because with the things that the characters had faced in the past and with the things that the characters were facing in the present, which is now in the past. But I don't know, it just kind of made me realize that awful things are going to continually happen, but it seems that we kind of collectively get on with it and things improve. And I just thought that was a really beautiful message. I gave this one 4 stars. Next is my first 5-star read of the year, and it is the first of the Unselected journals of Emma M. Lyon. I also have a vlog for this one, so I won't go on about this. So this is told in journals, and it's set in 1883. So Emma has returned from the countryside to her neighborhood. I think it's like kind of set during like Regency times, and she is, I don't know, it's just about Emma's life, and it's about her returning home and her trying to step into her own and claim things for herself at a time when things weren't available for women, and she is kind of under the power of a cousin who is kind of ruining her future and financial prospects. But it's just a really, I don't know, it's just whimsical, it's magical. For it to be so tiny, I laughed out loud multiple times. I wanted to cry because of some things that Emma had referenced. I just love this book so much. I have a vlog, so I will link it, but I love it, and everyone says that it just gets better and better and better, and I can't imagine, because this was perfection in a book. In that vlog, I also read another romance book, which is Done and Dusted by Lyla Sage. This follows Clementine and Luke. So Clementine had left her small town of Meadowlark, and now she has come home, and she's dealing with some fear because she was injured on a horse, and she's a barrel racer, I think is what she is. And obviously she just has a lot of fear. She can't seem to get back on the horse, so to speak. And Luke is her older brother's best friend. So Luke is there, and he's trying to kind of help Clementine like gain her confidence back and heal. And obviously they have a romance, but they kind of have to keep it secret. And there was some like animosity and banter with them in the past. I really liked this one. I gave it 3.5 stars. I just had a lot higher of expectations for it because I've seen this book everywhere and I've heard so many people rave of how great that this series is and just kind of how much more superior this series is in comparison to other books. And I didn't get it. But again, I talked about this in the vlog. I've seen where people, it's about to rain, so I'm sorry it's getting so much darker in here, but I've seen where people, you know, kind of gave this one 2 or 3 stars and then the rest of the series was like 4 or 5 stars. So definitely going to keep going. I just think I'm going to put this series on hold until like fall or late summer before I come back to it. And lastly was a book that has a lot of lore behind it for me in my kind of personal life, and it is The Heart of Winter by Shona Kinsella. So the backstory of this book is one day I was in Barnes & Noble with my friend and I wanted to buy a book and I was having a lot of trouble finding one, and I was drawn in by the title of this book because it's stunning. And I had to go to the bathroom, so I sat the book down to go to the bathroom and we could never find it. And it was like every time we went into Barnes & Noble, we were always looking for this book and we couldn't find it. So when we did find it, I had to buy it. But it tells the story of a young woman named Bridget. It's set in Scotland and it's kind of fairy tale-esque. It's definitely in the past. And her village is having a really bad summer. It's very wet and crops are not growing, and which means that they're going to face starvation and illnesses and potentially deaths come winter because they're not going to have enough food and resources. So the elders in her community go to make a sacrifice to the Lord of Summer and, you know, to bring good weather, and the Lord of Summer kind of denies their sacrifice, but instead he will take a bride from, you know, a young woman of the village, and they promise Bridget. Bridget's very upset about this because she wants to help her community and she wants to save her community, but she doesn't like that it was kind of non-consensual, that the men in her community decided to make a bargain on her behalf without asking her. So she sets off to talk to the Queen of Winter, and she wants the Queen of Winter to kind of intervene or bargain on Bridget's behalf, or to, you know, propose or create a different way for Bridget. Bridget gets there and the Queen is very unresponsive to Bridget's attempts to kind of bargain, or doesn't really take an interest in Bridget. But over time, you know, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it. I'm kind of going into the whole plot, but then, you know, more things happen, so we'll stop there. I had such high expectations for this book. I thought that there were a lot of really great feministic themes and ideas to be explored. I was loving the beginning of it. It was a little two-dimensional, but I kind of expected that, so that didn't bother me. I loved kind of the idea of the Queen of Winter, and she had been very like bitter toward humans because they were constantly praying for her to go away, or, you know, claiming that they didn't like her. And it really reflects on how winter can be a beautiful season of rest and how there is beauty to be found within winter. And I really loved those elements of it. I, again, had super high expectations for this book because of those things and because of the lore and because it's such a beautiful cover. And it just was so disappointing. It all felt for naught by the end. Like the whole thing, Bridget's journey, her bargaining, her character growth, all of it was pointless. And I was just incredibly disappointed. And it makes me sad. The author has a couple other books that I was kind of interested in. Now I don't know. It's like that thing, like, was this one just a dud, or this one not for me, or is just this author in general not for me? I don't know. But yeah, I was super, super disappointed because, again, it all felt for naught. It felt like the book, honestly, probably could have been about 10 pages and that was the end and it was over. And it just, again, it felt pointless. So I gave this one 2 stars, and honestly, that was probably a little generous of me. All right, friends, that sums up the books that I read so far this year. March is off to a great start, so I can't wait to share some reading vlogs and some other books that I'm reading then. I'm sorry that it got super dark in here. It's just a really rainy, overcast week, and my phone ran out of storage like 3 times. So if it's a little choppy in there, again, I apologize. But I just want you to know that I appreciate you being here so much. I appreciate your time. Choosing to take time out of your day to watch my videos means a lot. And I will see you very soon in another video. Bye.